Santina down. Santino, I think I said Santina by accident. Santino down with a punch. That would be next year, Santina. Ugh. In the ring, Beth Phoenix would hit Maria with the fisherman suplex and would pick up the win. After the match, Santino would try to mess with Maria or whatever and would get clotheslined by Snoop Dogg. Then Snoop Dogg and Maria would kiss in the ring, and Ashley would all leave together. They'd all leave together with each other. So that's that.
Yeah, again, that much.
Beth Phoenix and Melina would win 5 minutes. Half a star from me. Star from you. Generous, but
it was. Don't worry, it was still nothing. It was really nothing to fuss over.
Next would be the triple threat match for the WWE Championship. It would be Randy Orton defending against Triple H and John Cena. Both Triple H and Cena had been sidelined during parts of the previous year with injuries. Triple H would actually miss WrestleMania 23. But now it was time for both men to try to climb back up the mountain and be, I guess you could say, the redemption stories.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Especially for Triple H. Especially for Triple H, since he did miss half of 07, including WrestleMania. So, yeah, but this was definitely the way to go, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, triple threat doesn't sound like a bad move because I would not have wanted to see Orton and Triple H really, at least at this time, and then Cena.
Guess what? You might not want it about a year later.
Well, no, then it was fine, but I just the way they had done it at this point, I wouldn't have wanted a singles match.
Right. Hey, that is very ironic coming from you.
Well, yeah, because but this is at a time when triple threat matches are actually fun.
Yeah. No,
now they're just overplayed and whatnot, and they're just overdone, so they're just like all stupid to me. All three men would make their entrances. John Cena would have his, his entrance with the band. Triple H would come down to the ring. He'd have just like Triple H entrance. Not one of his more special ones or whatnot, but it looked fine. The presentation of the show was great, so it looked good in HD. Orton would make his entrance. Still had "Burning My Light" as his theme music. The match would start out with everyone brawling, then things would start to settle down. Orton would get in control. There was a Tower of Doom-like spot where Triple H would have Cena placed up on his shoulders and Orton would deliver a crossbody. That was actually surprising to see him do a crossbody at this stage. He'd barely get a pin attempt out of it, though, because Cena would power up and show his strength off.
Yeah, that pissed me off.
Well, yeah, because he kind of no-sold it. It's one thing, if he did it, after, it was like a 2 count or something, but, I think he barely got a 1 count.
Yeah, I know.
Then later, Orton would hit both Cena and Triple H with the middle rope DDT. Throughout this, I thought they made Orton look like a credible world champion, so thumbs up for that. Orton would RKO Triple H out of the ring, and then Cena would get Orton in the STFU. Triple H would drag Orton's arm to the rope and would break the hold. Triple H would then send Cena into the steel steps on the outside. Triple H would attempt an Indian Deathlock type submission on Orton, but Cena would get back in the ring to break it up. Cena goes back to the STFU, but Triple H would intervene and place Cena in a crossface. But Cena, of course, doesn't tap out, and because Cena never taps out, and would make his way over to the ropes. From here, Cena and Triple H would trade blows with one another. There'd be some counters for the finish. Triple H would hit John Cena with the pedigree. He'd go for the cover on Cena, but Orton would get back in the ring and would deliver the punt to the head of Triple H. Orton would pin Cena and would win the triple threat, retaining the WWE title. Really good triple threat match. I thought it was good that Orton won here, and that was also a shocker to many at the time. They probably thought, that either Cena or Triple H would win, but I doubt anyone would have thought Orton would win.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I would say, I would probably agree with that statement, because especially since, he's with the 2 bigger stars at the time. Obviously, Randy Orton from late 07 to then is definitely now starting to become a
top guy for sure.
Yeah, top guy definitely. Definitely a change from where he was like earlier.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
But yeah,
I don't know who. I don't know. I guess. Well, now Orton won, and that it is what it is. Obviously, this is like 12 years ago, but I'm trying to think of who I thought would have won because, I mean, yeah, Triple H or whatever. There's that, but then I can't say Cena. But I guess I could have seen Cena winning too because, not for nothing, Cena was undefeated at WrestleMania. So
that's true. Into that he was, and he technically did not lose the championship after holding on to like over 300 days.
Yeah, even though the original plan though was for him to drop it to Orton at No Mercy. I mean, that was supposed to be the match at the pay-per-view, and then he got hurt. But the plan was for Orton to eventually beat him.
Really, I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Eventually the reign has to end, right?
Yeah, so Orton was going to beat him there. So that's why they just made him the champion.
Okay, that makes more sense.
And then they did the thing with Triple H, so Triple H would get the belt, it'd be like a couple hours, but then Orton would eventually win it back, so he would actually beat somebody, so he'd beat the champion, so he'd actually
beat someone for it.
Yeah.
But just because you took out somebody, I'm going to reward you with the WWE title.
Yeah, there you go. Although they did get Triple H the world title one time, so I don't know. Randy Orton would win 14 minutes, 10 seconds. I guess that's the other thing. I feel like you could definitely say these guys probably deserved a little more time, with it being a world title match. But, they gotta send them out there, and you gotta, just work with what you got. So 3 3/4 from you, 3.5 from me. Really good triple threat match. Liked it, enjoyed it.
But they definitely made the punt kick weak in that sentence, in that match. Because normally that takes you out for like months. I only took them out for like.
That is a good point. I mean, that's signed on you for like ever.
Yeah.
They even write people off TV that way.
Yep.
So there you go.
So with the punt kick, because he does the same thing again at Backlash to John Cena, and again he's back like the next night. When that thing takes you out like.
At least that's how they sell it.
Huh?
At least that's how they'd sell it.
Yeah, at least how they sell it. Like it at least will take you out at the least 2 months.
Uh-huh.
But if they're really selling it, you're off for like a good 5-6 months.
Yeah, basically. So next we'd have the no disqualification match between Big Show and Floyd Money Mayweather. This has to be, for me, probably the best celebrity match ever. Floyd sure knew how to make an entrance, one of the best of the night. This match will begin with Floyd trying to avoid the much larger opponent in Big Show. Floyd would land a couple quick body shots on Show. Floyd would try to make a mockery out of Show by taking a drink break mid-match and would drink from a chalice of some sorts. And then Big Show would close on one of Floyd's guys off the apron.
He definitely lined it.
Oh, yeah, he destroyed him. Then Floyd would try to get Show, but then he'd finally get caught. Floyd would then get on Big Show's back and would get him in a sleeper hold, but then Show would get him off his back and would step on Floyd's hand. Next couple minutes, Show would just toy with Floyd Mayweather. He'd even step on his back at one point. Granted, he wasn't putting all of his weight into it, but still, Big Show is a much larger man than he is.
Then he got his representative or something going, "You can't do that. Don't do that."
Eventually, his group would pull Floyd out of the ring and would attempt to leave the match, but Big Show would just chase after him and fight off his guys and bring Floyd back down to the ring. Floyd was about to take a choke slam by Big Show, but Show would get hit in the back with the steel chair from one of Floyd's associates. Then Big Show would choke slam that guy, and then I think he hit one of them. He hit one of them and he choke slammed the other.
I think he choke slammed both.
Okay. However it went. Then Floyd would grab the chair and would deliver several chair shots to Big Show. He then grabbed some brass knucks, wrap it in some chain, and would knock out the Big Show. Keep in mind that you can win this match by pinfall submission or a knockout. Referee Scott Armstrong would count to 10, and the match would be over. Floyd Mayweather would win 11 minutes, 40 seconds. I like this. Way better than expectations going into it. For sure, it had to have been.
Yeah. If I remember correctly, enjoy it as I thought I was going to, but I mean, it was fine in my eyes.
Still, if you would have seen this match on paper, like at least back in 2008, like it probably would sound like it was going to be like a train wreck.
Oh yeah, no, I agree with that sentence. For some reason, for me, I just didn't enjoy it as much.
Yeah, so I went with 3 stars in this one. You went with 2 3/4, so we weren't too far off. Floyd would win 11 minutes 40 seconds. The night before, then right before the main event, Kim Kardashian would appear in the ring and would announce the attendance for the evening, which would be 74,635, I believe. I'm going to make sure I got that right. Yep, I actually had that right. So then,
You.
I know, I don't know how I just remembered that number in my head. Then we'd finally have the main event. It'd be for the World Heavyweight Championship. Edge defending the title against The Undertaker. Streak versus title. The Undertaker's 15-0 undefeated WrestleMania streak versus Edge's World Heavyweight title. Quick little fun fact here. This would be The Undertaker's first Mania title main event in 11 years. Of course, his first Mania title match was, it was a 10-year in between the last time and, of course, WrestleMania 23, which he had the match with Batista. But this would be the first time he was in the main event of WrestleMania in 11 years.
It's funny how the year after he went to Royal Rumble, he's in the main event of WrestleMania.
There you go. But yeah, I'm definitely glad this was the main event. But yeah, you're 100% right. Both men would make their entrances. Undertaker would be sporting his robe, not the famous trench coat hat. I mean, I didn't mind the other look. I mean, I thought it was cool. I still think that the trench coat and the hat is better, but the robe was cool. He still looked good. Edge would actually get 10 or last, which is a rarity when one has a match against Taker. Both guys would have WrestleMania quality entrances. It just felt like a main event. Like it just felt like it belonged, and this should have been the main event. I mean, I guess you could have made a case, it was Ric Flair's final match and whatnot, so that you could have made the case that should have been the main event. But I don't know. I feel like this was the match that people would have liked to have seen mostly in the main event, and definitely the one I would have liked to have seen in the main event. So.
I'm with you.
Maybe if the Flair retirement would have been sooner, had it been years before, then maybe. But maybe since he waited as long as it did, maybe it lost some steam. Don't get me wrong, it was a huge deal, and it was a great match, and it was like a pay-per-view, even like a Mania quality retirement match where you could have that gone last. So there is that too, but. So the match would begin. Edge would try to show that he's not intimidated. They go back and forth. Undertaker would go for old school, which Edge would counter, only for Taker to counter back with an arm drag. That was awesome. I've never seen anything like that one before. Edge would start to take control of the match. Edge would try to go to the top, but Undertaker would stop him and send him crashing to the floor below, with Edge taking a nasty fall. Yeah, it was a bad bump. Undertaker would then hit his famous dive over the top to the outside. He'd follow this up by hitting the famous leg drop on the ring apron. Vintage Undertaker, as Michael Cole would say. Edge would later deliver a back body drop to Taker, sending him over the top of the barrier into the crowd. That also could have been bad because there's just it looked like there was just some steel padding or whatever, on top of what would have been the football field. Because the ring was at center field, so it was at the 50-yard line, which they figured for viewing pleasures that'd probably be the best spot to put the ring if they just put it right there in the center. Then Edge with Taker back in the ring would go for a modified version of a single leg. And Edge would make a pretty counter. No, Taker rather would make a pretty counter into a